you turned your back on God? Do you feel like that your marriage is just too far gone and there's no fixing it? Well, we want to share, this is our part 2 of some marriage testimonies that we went through and some things that we want to help you, and hopefully you won't go through the same stupid things we went through.
I know that I turned my back on God. It was about the 3rd time that me and her got back together. And, I kind of had God on the back burners. I wasn't going to church. I wasn't praying, reading, doing anything like that. And whenever I felt that there was no more hope for us, then I went to God, and I got on my face, and I was crying and everything. And He didn't answer the prayer, and I didn't understand why, really. And I kind of turned my back on God. I kind of got mad at Him. And
yeah, because you were praying that I would stay, because I was sitting in the living room and I was fixing to leave. I had made a phone call and I told someone to come pick me up. And that's right, you in the back room and you were praying. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it didn't work. But I really got upset with God and mad, and I just went and did my own thing after that.
Now let me share something with this real quick, just a side note on this. My main reason that I wanted to leave was because I didn't think I seen any change in him. He kept claiming and saying, I've changed and I've done this and I've done that. And I was like, no, you have not. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm leaving. That's it.
Yeah. And I really turned my back on God. I wasn't. The whole time that we were separated, I was partying, drinking, smoking, sleeping around, doing all these things. And, I really thought God was upset with me, and I thought He was mad at me, and there was just no going back. I've done all these things, and God, you ain't never gonna be able to forgive me. You ain't never gonna do this. And it really got me down in the dumps, and I thought there was no turning back. But then I came across this. It's in the book of Luke, and it's talking about the prodigal son. And it starts at Luke 15, starting at verse 19. And it says, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went to his father meaning God, But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and he was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. Then the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servant, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they begin to celebrate. But get one thing in here. If you guys feel like God's mad at you and all this and all that, nowhere in here did the prodigal son have to run to God and, oh Lord, I'm sorry. God ran. It says God ran to him before the son could even get to him. He ran to him and gave him a hug and gave him a kiss. It don't say in here that he pleaded for, I'm sorry, God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do these things. Now that's not saying don't have a repentant heart. Don't say sorry when you mess up, because that's good for your relationship, to build your relationship with God. But God ran to him, and after God knew he did all that, but God still loved him because he came to his senses, and he returned back to God.
And that's one thing in that story of the prodigal son. It talks about where the prodigal son was sleeping where the pigs sleep. He was eating the pig slop, and then all of a sudden he came to his senses and realized, oh my gosh, my dad's servants live better than this. And that's kind of what we did in our relationship. We were apart. I was with a different man, he was with a different woman, and I want to say that it was kind of me that come to my senses, because he did keep pursuing me and keep trying, and I kept pushing him away. And many times he'd send me text during the night, and I would get mad at him. Why are you even trying? Like, I'm done with you. I'm living my new life. I got what I got. But let me tell you, I was so miserable. Oh my gosh. I did not have a night that I went to bed sober. If I wasn't drunk, I was higher than all get out. If I wasn't high, I was doing other drugs, and we don't have to talk about it. But the enemy had a hold of me and was trying to kill me with everything he had, because I had gotten out of my obedience, and my obedience was in my marriage. And I had opened the door to the devil, and I had allowed him in. And it's very important in your marriage and in your relationships to have, God's word says that we raise up a standard, and there's boundaries that have to be set in a relationship. And if you feel like your marriage is falling apart and you are like, don't know what to do, we understand. Our marriage fell apart, and it fell apart for, I want to say, a good solid year and a half, really. Like, we really went down drain really hard for a year and a half. And what happened was, we opened the door, and we allowed the enemy in. And the first door that was open was being drunk. We were drunkards. God's word says that a drunkard will not enter the gates of heaven. Now, don't get mad because you drink. Nowhere does it say that there's anything wrong with having a glass or having one drink. But it says not to be drunk. Why? So you can have a clear mind to pray. That is why. So we allowed that door in. Well, then drunkardness turned into anger and abuse. That turned me into a bitter, mean wife. I began to want to tell him what to do and how he needed to be. I definitely didn't want to hear, well, you just need to love your husband and be submissive, because I was like, you do not understand what my husband is doing. But that was me being wrong. I should not have done that. I should have stayed with my husband. I should have submitted under what his authority was, and we should have talked about things. We should have sought out more godly counsel. Save yourself the trouble. If your marriage is falling apart, and if you are struggling and you really don't know where to start or what to do, my first thing is going to say, go to 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3 talks about, first off, as a wife. And it talks about how if a wife is married to an ungodly man, how she should act and what she should do. But honestly, that's just with any wife. And then farther down, I want to say it's 1 Peter 3:7, I think is where it starts with the husband. And it tells husbands, be gentle, be compassionate of your wife. We deal with hormones. We get super cranky, and we're sorry. We don't mean to be. We do. Stop shaking your head. But we have to be compassionate for one another. Our marriage should reflect Christ. When people see us, they should be like, wow, that's two Christians right there. Because we should be so much trying to help each other and love one another that it's obvious. Husbands are to love their wives as Christ loved the church. Now, but what that means is to love your wife with a godly passion. Like, first you have to have your house in order. God first, then your wife. And it's very important that you men do that. And women, it's very important that you have God first and then your husband. Do not get that out of order. It's really hard when you get that out of order. Kids go after your spouse. Now, we have something that helped change our marriage. Maybe this will kind of help y'all. We quit helping each other in the house with the chores and everything. Because here's why. Wives, you will agree. Men, you may get mad. Sorry, my husband got mad when I first told him this first.
Oh, yeah.
But that house is dirty, not just because of your stuff, but because of your kids.
Dishes.
All of our dishes, all of our cups, all of our trash,
laundry.
all of our laundry, all of that. It's ours. Because it's both of ours.
Yeah.
In other words, like, thank you for picking up your trash. Thank you that I picked up my trash. No, there should not be that. He has now got to the point where, and this is something new we've worked in our marriage.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new. Hot off the press.
There we go. So if there's dishes in the sink and I mention to him, okay, honey, this is what I have to do today, and I'll name off a few things in the house, he'll go, okay, boom. He'll get up and he'll start helping me. I don't have to ask for it no more. And that has brought so much peace. Let me tell you, men, how sexy it is for a man to stand there and wash dishes. Woo, it'll do something for a girl. It's way more attractive than seeing him sit there and TikTok and watch this and watch videos or watch TV. Get out of your comfort zone. God's word says that the greatest among you are servants, not kings, not priests.
He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. Not king.
Be a servant to your spouse. Husbands and wife both. Neither of you are greater than the other. Now, wives, respect your husband, respect their authority. Pride is the biggest disaster in a relationship. It will tear a relationship apart horribly. Nagging, arguing, judging, and pride. 4 main things that kill a relationship. You honor God, put him first.
He died for us. Everybody who's ever lived, he died for their sins. And there's some pretty crazy people out there, but that's just the love and the grace of God.
Well, think about Paul.
Yeah, Paul murdered Christians. Murdered them.
Yeah. And he's the one that wrote, I want to say 3/4 of the New Testament. But he was killing Christians.
So if you guys think, oh, I'm too bad, I've done too much, no, you haven't. Now, when Jesus came, did he go to the rich people? Did he go to the people who had it all figured out, had it all put together? No, he didn't. He went and got fishermen. He went and got tax collectors. I mean, prostitutes. I mean, come on.
Ooh, come on. God can use anybody if they're willing. You have to be a willing vessel for God. And we have now made the decision, let's be willing. Let God use us. So that's why we're making these videos. Y'all, if y'all need something, y'all reach out. Y'all message us. We love to talk with y'all. Y'all have a great day. God bless y'all. Till next time.